Welcome, everybody. I am Bryan.
And I'm Bryan.
And this is Bryan versus Bryan, episode 56, Ghost of Tsushima. Director's cut, I guess, because we're going to, talk about the PS5 version. And you can't get the regular one on the PS5. There's
Nope.
a lot of weird stuff going on with the re-release of this game. So this is by Sucker Punch. Came out in 2020 and then re-released in 2021 for the PS5, along with the new DLC. What is it called? Island of what? Iki?
Iki, yeah. Elka.
Iki Island,
yeah,
Ike? Something like that. It's got a K in it. All right. Yeah. So this is my introduction to this game. I never played it. I kind of steered away from it because I was trying to not play PS4 games because I just got the PS5, and this is a late release, so I was like, nah, I don't need to play a PS4 game. I want to move on. So kind of glad I didn't. So I get to dip my toe in first on the PS5 version.
Yeah.
And excuse me, you got it original release, so you've been singing its praises ever since.
Yeah, so I played this last November. I think I must have got it on a Black Friday sale or something. And I kind of stayed away from it because when it originally launched, because I looked at gameplay and I was like, all right, it's one of those riding around a horse fucking games. You know what I mean? It didn't look like it was that gripping to me. It didn't look that fun. So I kind of stayed away from it. And then when it was on sale for Black Friday last year, I just picked it up because people were starting to rave about it and how good it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was very surprised at how much I liked it. This ended up being in one of my top games of the year, the video that we did last year. And I stand by that. It wasn't my game of the year, but it was in the top 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, this game is awesome. The story's great. It's visually stunning. The gameplay is fun. And that's kind of where I stood on the PS4 version.
Yeah. So it's like I don't even know. It's kind of like a Assassin's Creed, I think, style game, where it's like open world. It reminds me of if Assassin's Creed did like a feudal Japan game. It'd probably be something like this. So you got a bunch of sword fighting, but it's really pretty in depth with the sword fighting stuff. I've never played Souls, but a lot of people compare it to that, because it can get pretty hard and crazy combat. So, I thought the graphics were
interesting. Real quick before it, because I like what's cool about this game is once you get all the stances and once you kind of like level up and you start getting used to switching between stances on different enemy types, because different stances are for certain enemy types. Once you get a hang of that and you just fucking stroll into a town and you just annihilate all of them and you feel like a fucking badass and you don't get a scratch on you, that's where the game really shines. You're like, yeah, I can fucking do this. But it's interesting because so the director's cut is a new island, which I'm sure we'll get into, but it's fucking hard. It's really, really hard. Like I could go back to the other island, the main island from the original game, and I can do it with my eyes closed. But this new island, dude, I'm just like, it's not even, it's hard to the point where I don't really want to play it. Like I bought it a couple weeks ago and I haven't really dipped into it because I'm just like, I just get my fucking ass beat every time. It's kind of annoying.
I think it's hard kind of period. It's the combat's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of this, I hate this in games, a lot of unblockable like moves people do, and they'll be let's get this out of the way. We're not going to like do like a super in-depth review on this. This game's pretty old.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't seen a review, there's a million of them out there. That's not kind of what this is. We're just going to kind of talk about the upgrade process and what our thoughts on the PS5 version and whatnot. So there's a lot of unblockable attacks, and they have that like red X, and you have to like dodge it. And it's just like, God, I hate it when games do that. It's like, you have to do this specific thing for this. And it happens a lot. I was like, dude, really? I think there's some kind of parry or something to it. It's just, I don't know. The combat's really good, but that just annoys me when games do that.
Go for it.
Oh, especially when they do it so much. Like a lot of characters hit you with that unblockable attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's funny you bring that up because I mean this kind of leads to the director's cut because you're playing it new, so it's been since November, almost a year, coming up on a year since I've played it, and over time those reds will start coming into blues, and you'll be able to start pairing a lot of that stuff. But and the director's cut, it's the same fucking thing, dude. It's like I'm so used to parrying all these things and using what the mechanics the game gave me. But now on this new island, almost all of the enemies are red. And all I can do is just kind of roll out of the way and use certain objects. But it's like, I don't want to use my bombs and my knives. I want to like get close and do my sword stuff, but I can't because every time I go close, it's the red shit. They're swinging their shit around. I'm like, God damn it. So it's getting kind of annoying.
Yeah, the combat is really great in depth, but the game is great. Mm-hmm. So, but I just have all these little gripes, and I would like to talk about.
Yeah.
The controls. God, so much.
It's a lot.
It's to remember, man. Yes. And like you're talking about all the extra stuff. I don't even use that shit because I can't remember how. It's like I'll be in a fight, and it's like, dude, you got to hold like R1 and then cycle to get the different secondary weapons. Even the stance, I'll forget most of the time. And then I'll have to really remind myself to change. If there's like a shield guy, I'll go to the water stance.
Yeah.
And it's like not very intuitive to change in a fight because there's always fucking 10 of them surrounding you. And you got to roll out backwards a shit ton, and they're all chasing me. And I'll try and hold the trigger or whatever it is. And then R1 or R2 to switch the stance. And it's like, it doesn't switch very quickly. It's not something that's super easy to do in the middle of a fight. So I'm like, it's kind of frustrating. And then, like the weapons, I'll always forget I have them. The only one I actually kind of use is the little freaking shuriken or little dagger throw.
Yeah.
That one's easy to use. You just run and like press square while you're running into the fight, and it'll help you stagger some of them. But yeah, these controls are gnarly, dude. It's like one of these games, if you don't play for a couple of days, you're like, oh, shit.
It's very overwhelming. I mean, that's why I knew, the director's cut was coming out soon, and I hadn't played it since November, December. And they're like, there's no fucking way I'm jumping into the director's cut. And so I fired it up a couple weeks ago and started playing around with it. But yeah, it took me a really long time to be like, because you're right, it's not very fluid to change stances in a fight, because you literally have to pull up a menu in the bottom right, look down and click the right button, and then you're in the stance. It should just be a click of a button. And I don't know how they could do that, but it's not very convenient. Same with, I use a lot of my stuff. Like I think I use my bomb a lot. I just fucking throw a sticky bomb and blows up and shit. But even then, it's the same thing. You have to hold L2, the little thing pops up in the left, and you have to like toggle, which one a smoke bomb. So it does slow the momentum of combat down. I would agree there that it's extremely overwhelming, and it's hard to remember like what L1, R1, all that shit does.
Yeah, but it's very rewarding, when you get it all together. But it's not a big deal, but it can just get frustrating. Some of the best games are like that. You got to have that depth to make the encounters memorable. I use the bow a lot. Another thing games do I don't like is, when you pull the bow back and then you try to aim up your shot, and it has a limit, like how long you can take with the bow pulled back before it just automatically shoots it. I'm like, dude, why?
Yeah.
Just let me hold it for a minute and decide when I want to shoot. It's like who has ever shot a bow and been like, I can't hold it anymore. It's like, why? What's the point of that? I don't get it.
Yeah, just I hate when they try to put realism in games. Like, we're playing a video game, like it's fine. Just be able to hold the arrow. It's like Red Dead. The animations in Red Dead drove me nuts when you have to get off your horse and like loot people. There's the animation where you go pick up the body. I'm like, no, just have my character stand, hit a button, and then you have the stuff. There's no need for the animation. I don't know. All that realism shit. It's like, come on, we're just playing a video game here. Have a little fun.
Don't get me started. Don't even bring Red Dead into this. Oh, I was gonna. That's funny. It's funny that you said that, because I was gonna bring up. You were talking about the horse riding. You said it looked like a horse riding game before you played it. Yeah, I do find that the one of the weakest parts of the game is traversal. Just riding long ass distances to a place you haven't been, so you can't fast travel yet. On this horse who has 1 gallop speed, which is slightly faster than walk. And it's just, and I kept wanting to hit X like Red Dead and get a little kick this bastard in the side and get him going. But no, X throws you off, launches you off the front of the damn horse. And I was like, damn it. I did that so many times, dude. Like Red Dead's horse feels so much better than this.
Yeah, 100%.
Like Red Dead, I think, has done the best horse riding I've ever felt in my life.
For sure.
And it's like, it's a joy to ride that horse. It doesn't feel like a chore when you have to go. And it's a huge fucking same thing with Red Dead. Oh, go across the whole damn map. It's like, oh my God, really? And it's a little harder in Ghost when you're just like, the only guidance you have is the wind. I mean, you could press pause and look at the map real quick, but you swipe up on the motion pad or touch pad. Yeah, and it and sometimes it's hard to judge where the fuck the wind's going. It's like, what is it going? It's just like some lines, some wispy lines. Usually I could tell by, because it'll throw some leaves. Like, where's the leaves at?
Yeah.
Kick a little leaves in the direction, man. And so when it's like that and no mini map, like there could be a mountain, you know what I mean? Like a giant cliff in between you and the place. And I'll just make a beeline. I'll say, okay, I'm going to straightest path will get me there quick. And then there's like a giant cliff. I'm like, damn, dude, how big is this? Do I want to go around it? Or it's telling me to go through it. It's all climbing it, that fucking horse. So that's kind of weird. It was kind of cool though, the immersive, like, very limited HUD system.
Yeah. I think that's the draw of it. I think I didn't get lost too many times. I get what you're saying, but I don't think that happened to me that much. I mean, the exact thing that you're talking about going through a mountain definitely happened. I mean, that shit pissed me off like Breath of the Wild. That shit happened to me all the fucking time in Breath of the Wild. It drove me nuts. But sometimes that does happen. But I think for the most part, the wind was pretty dynamic and pretty fun. And it just keeps your eyes on the center of the screen versus keep darting over to the mini map.
It was weird that they want to do that. But then they make you look over there to change your stance. You know what I mean? Like, don't look over there when you're walking, when you're running to your destination, where it doesn't matter. You can look down all you want, but during the fight, you better be looking down. Yeah, that's funny. Let's talk about the actual PS5 version. So this is some weird shit Sony has done, man. The big controversy, everybody, is that, okay, so if you play this game on PS4 on a PlayStation 5 in backwards compatibility mode, there is a patch that makes this game run at 60 frames per second. So that's pretty good. That's like 60 frames per second is like bringing it up to PS5 kind of quality, and the graphics were already pretty damn good because it's a late ass PS4 game. So it's very beautiful. So people are up in arms because to get the new PS5 version, you have to first of all spend $20 to get the expand, because you can't have just Ghost of Tsushima PS5. There's no such thing. You have to have the director's cut to have a PS5 version. Correct. So you got to buy the DLC, which is $20, the island expansion. And then you have to pay another $10 if you want to turn that upgraded PS4 version to a PS5 version. And people are up in arms because they've already given away this free update, which pretty much brings the PS4 version in line with the PS5 version. Because the only thing you're getting on PS5 is the haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, which playing through this game, I'm about 16 hours, isn't much. I mean, it's not, it doesn't blow my mind. I kind of forget about it. But I don't even remember much of it happening at all. The horse is most memorable to me when you're running. It has a really cool galloping feeling in the rumble. But other than that, I don't feel much adaptive trigger stuff going on.
No, and people have been raving about it too. I think people just like this game, and anything that it's new is going to be kind of celebrated. And I don't think it's like a negative addition. I think it's a cool addition, but it's like when you compare it to fucking Call of Duty or like Returnal or like some of these other games that really use, or I haven't played Spider-Man on PS5, but I imagine it's pretty dope. But it's there, but it's kind of subtle. It's not as cool and crazy as some of these other games.
Yeah, a lot of times I just forget it. It's even around, kind of like Switch with like the HD Rumble. It's like, if you think about it, it's there, but most of the time when you're playing a game, you kind of just forget, and it feels like we had Rumble in games for years. So your controller vibrating, even if it's a better vibrate, doesn't like you're like, oh damn, look at, man, I can feel the rocks.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's there. And then the upgrade is it has real-time cutscenes now. So what that allows them to do is they added the Japanese voice acting, which you don't get in PS4. So they can do the lip sync, because in the PS4, or they do have it in PS4, but when you did the Japanese voices in PS4, it looked like a bad dubbed Chinese movie, whereas like the lips would just be moving and then the Japanese is playing. So this one, the lips are syncing. That doesn't matter to me. I planned on playing in Japanese, but I didn't. I was like, fuck it. I don't want to read this whole thing. It gets kind of dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
And so whatever, I didn't. And the voice acting is pretty good in English. It doesn't sound like a bunch of white dudes or something. Hey there.
I think it was made specifically for English. I think this is kind of like an addition, so it's probably better to play. I mean, I've played the whole last game and this game in Japanese with subtitles, but I think at the end of the day, I think it's meant for English speaking.
Yeah, so those two things. What's the third one? Oh yeah. They boosted the resolution. So it ran on like PS4 and I think PS5 backwards compat at 1800p, PS4 30 frames per second, and then when you play on PS5 60 frames per second with that update, but both 1800p. PS5 is 4K, so you're going from 1800p to 2160p, which is not a huge leap, but I know native 4K does look really good. Native 4K at 60. So since you're getting a very subtle bump in resolution, you're not getting the 60 FPS, because if you have a PS5 that you're upgrading this for, you could play this game at 60 already. And then I don't know if it's Sony or Sucker Punch that like gave some stupid answer about why they have to charge $10. It's like, well, we actually worked on it. It's not just a mindless upgrade. It's like, oh yeah, there's been so many upgrades that have, like Avengers free upgrade to next gen. Like it looks way better, has like better like physics and freaking more damage. There's the Doom upgrades.
Oh yeah,
where they add like 120 and all this. Like there's been so many people that have offered these awesome next gen upgrades and charge nothing. And then here, what are you offering? Adaptive triggers, a slight bump in resolution, and some Japanese lip sync. It just looks really bad to me. It's such a
It's weird. Also, it's worth noting, one of these isn't really a big deal to me. The other one is. There's two other things that it added. Like I said, one of these I don't really care about, but I guess it's worth mentioning. But there's 3D audio for PS5 if you were a headphones type of player. You got that going for you. I don't really use headphones, so it doesn't really affect me. But the other thing that I really appreciate on this upgrade is load times. I played Ghost of Tsushima on the base PS4, not the Pro, just like the old school shit. And some of those load times for fast travel were pretty long. So now I think I have a clip in here I'll pop in when I was playing this morning, but it's like seconds. It's like 3 seconds now.
No, it's the longest load time is about 4 seconds.
Yeah.
But I don't even consider that a bullet point. It's a PS5 game.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth $10.
You know what I mean?
I'm not trying to say that that's worth $10. I'm just saying that there's some.
No, I'm just saying I don't even think it's worth saying it's an upgrade, because any PS5 game does that, right?
Yeah.
So like they all do that because they use the PS5 SSD. So it's not like it's got faster load times. Well, yeah, it's a PS5 game. Every single PS5 game does that. You know what I mean? It's not like a specific feature you're adding, but yeah, that is great. There pretty much is no load times. Like you click something and it fades to black, fades in. Like
well, it's weird. So I have to not necessarily push back, but so I was just saying earlier that I was playing the PS4 version, the one that you keep saying like they already kind of upgraded it a little bit already. I was playing that before the director's cut, and there were load times. Like when I would fast travel, there would be a white screen. I don't think you even know this.
No, I'm talking about PS5. There's no load times. I'm not disagreeing. There's load times. Like on the PS5 version, I'm just saying.
Oh, I
that's
see.
How fast. Yeah, that's how fast it loads. Like when you choose to do something, it just fades to black and then fades into whatever you're doing.
Right.
There's definitely those were like 30 seconds on like PS4 up to like a minute 20. I've heard. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying for the PS5 version.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying.
To tell people how fast it loads. It's pretty much like it's not loading. It's just transitioning.
Sure.
Like you click on something and say fast travel, fades to black, fades in. You're there. It's like second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just don't think it's probably worth the money for people who have a PS5, you know, like because the graphics are the same. They didn't do nothing. It just boosted resolution. I think you're totally fine if you have this on PS4, just maybe buying the island expansion if you wanted to and running with the back compat patch, and you'll have pretty much the same experience. You know, I say if you want to spend the $10, you go ahead, but I feel like people aren't missing out on much, and they shouldn't be like, oh damn, I wish I could get the PS5 version. You know, I think you're pretty much getting the same experience.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, even so I have the PlayStation blog up where I'm trying to see what the whole breakdown of this thing because it's very it confused me. Even up until launch, it confused me because like I have a digitally, I have a physical right there and a digital version. But I have the digital. I've been playing the digital version on the PS5 before the director's cut, and I would go to the store to just pre-order the update, but it was like the only update I could buy was PS4, and I'm like, well, I thought that I could upgrade PS5, but then it was like, oh no, you have to wait until the day it launches to upgrade it, or you just buy the PS4, and then when it launches, you come back and pay another $10, and I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, why are you making me jump through all these hoops? Just like, I don't know, it was really weird, man.
Yeah, I'm glad I waited because then all I had to do was go buy it off the shelf. Yeah. And it's nice that it has a PS5 physical edition. So then you get all this stuff in one go because I don't think they have that for PS4. I don't think they have like a director's cut edition like in a box for PS4. Not that I've seen.
Here, I'll look it up let's see if there one exists.
So this is probably the only version where you get everything on a disc in a box. Another thing they did.
So there is one, just to clarify.
There is one?
Yeah, it's $60.
Well, then that's not a pro for the 5. I guess you can get the whole box version on 4.
Yeah.
Another thing they did is not a PS5 exclusive, but because they updated it, they added different controls, and lock on, because that was a lot of people's problems with the combat. I guess was no lock on, and the camera could get kind of hard to control because the default controls have attack as face buttons. I think it's O. It's not O. Is it square and triangle are the attacks?
Correct. Circles, roll, and the X's jump.
So you got to keep your finger up there, so you can't really adjust the camera too much while you're hitting. So I heard about that, and then the lock on. So I read about all these controls, and I started the game. I changed the controls before I even played it to L1 or R1, R2 for attacks. And I think everyone says it works better. because then you can have your thumb on the camera and you can rotate it while you're attacking, and just bring it up to do a roll or something. And I really liked that. I didn't even try the face controls. And the lock on, I didn't think was very great. I tried the lock on. It just never seemed to be that great. I mean, it would lock on to somebody and then somebody else, because it's so chaotic. Somebody else would come attack me from behind. I'm just too locked on to this guy. I'm like, God dang it. And I would forget how to change the lock on. It's like, so when you change it to R1, R2, and you have the ability to move the camera wherever you are, I think that's good enough. That solves the problem of the camera issue. So I didn't need the lock on at all. And I actually think the lock on made the fights harder. So anyone who's first jumping into this, probably switch those controls up to the R1, R2, kind of soul style fighting. I think it's probably the way the control should have been from the beginning. But yeah, that's an addition, but that's just an update. Any version of the game has that.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually even tried it. I didn't even know it existed until just as we've been recording. Like I said, I had the PlayStation blog up and I kind of just saw it as I was scrolling looking for other info. But so I'm glad you brought it up because I don't think I've even tried it. Maybe I'll give it a shot. I'm not really. It depends on what the game is. Lock is for me or not for me. This game seems like it won't be for me. But I'll give it a shot. I didn't know it existed until just now.
Sure. So, yeah, that's the pretty much the extent of the differences. And and there's I don't know if you're on PS5, so have you checked out the setting where it's like favor frame rate or favor resolution? Have you looked at that?
No, I haven't messed around with that yet. The moment it booted up, I thought it looked pretty. I didn't fuck with anything.
Yeah, it defaults to favor resolution, and you can change it to favor frame rate, but don't, because it's useless. So both of them run at 60 FPS, both versions. Frame rate and resolution on PS5, both are 60. It's just kind of a leftover from PS4. And then favor frame rate drops the resolution down to the PS4 style 1800p. So that's the only difference. So hey, do you want your resolution low and your frame rate the same? Pick this one.
That doesn't make any sense.
so don't be playing on the favor frame rate thinking, oh heck yeah, if you're one of those guys like you are, like I gotta have that 60. I'm not messing with the resolution mode. They're both 60. So enjoy the higher resolution.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was Digital Foundry or Push Square, one of these guys. I think it was on their Twitter feed that their tweet itself was like, you don't need to play on, it already runs at 60 on performance mode. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely. So, those are a bunch of gripes and bitching. But man, this game is fucking cool. I'm glad I waited so I could play the PS5 version now and have like another physical game. But I'm thinking like, damn, why did this one pass me by? And Sucker Punch is really good. I like the Infamous series. I always thought those were really interesting and fun. And I remember that first one, it was like must have been a launch or early PS4 game, the Infamous Second Son. And it was based in Seattle. And, we're from Washington, so it was just really cool to see Seattle recreated in PS4 graphics. That was just like blowing my mind at the time.
Yeah, I love that game.
They had everything in. They had that gum wall, and you could go look stuff up, and it was like pretty one-to-one recreation of like downtown Seattle. So yeah, Sucker Punch is pretty freaking rad, and this is definitely different than what they've been doing. The third-person kind of superhero type, games going to this soul-style hardcore combat sword fighting game. So kudos to them, because this is freaking awesome. The story's awesome. You're you're like the last samurai. Everyone died in this battle, and you realize, the samurai code is to like fight with honor and let your opponent see your eyes when you take their life. He realizes you can't beat the Huns like this, these damn Mongolians.
Yeah,
and he's got to switch it up and like become stealthy and do all this other stuff. Yeah, I freaking enjoy this game. It's really cool.
Yeah, I love that part of the story quite a bit. This whole like, you need to be a certain thing and have a certain code, but in order to like, in his mind, in order to succeed in killing the Mongolians, you have to fucking get your hands dirty a little bit. So I like that that character in him. It's just like, yeah, I'll sneak up on people all day long and slit their throat. I don't give a fuck.
So you want this to be Assassin's Creed? Yes. This felt more Assassin's Creed than the latest Assassin's Creed did. Like I tried some of that stupid Viking one. I did not enjoy it. This felt like Assassin's Creed more than that Assassin's Creed game did. But yeah, so very minimalist upgrades. I don't get where they think they can charge $10 for it. There's been so many games that have done way better upgrades for free, and then here they are saying, "Well, we worked on it. $10." Yeah, you worked on it, all right.
It's bullshit.
Frickin' Sony. And all the Xbox games, like all the Xbox games are free. It's like they're like what's kind of pisses me off about Xbox is like I can't have Series X like physical games because they're just the same. It's the same game. The box isn't different. Mm-hmm. I don't get a cool new box like PS5. It just kind of has a compatible with X thing it says on it. It's like, damn it, give me a different box. Yeah. It's like all their games that have these free updates, so they just keep them in the same box. So yeah, they do other upgrades really well. It's like you just buy one game. It's from 1997. You play it on the Series X, and it's freaking 4K.
Yeah, so, it makes me curious to see because you fucking know that Santa Monica is going to do something with God of War before Ragnarok comes out. I mean, why wouldn't you? Especially like people haven't played it in years. You're about to drop a sequel. You might as well. So I'm wondering if they're going to charge it or if they're just going to. I mean, they've already upgraded it. I think at least some of it from what I remember. Yeah. But
they did the same thing with the resolution and the FPS are higher.
So I'm wondering if they're going to do anything for their before Ragnarok comes out. I'd be curious. But back to Director's Cut. I unfortunately, you haven't beat the base game, so I'm not going to spoil the island stuff. But I can't really speak too much on the island stuff. Like I said, I've only probably put in 3 hours into the expansion. It's really fucking hard. Like I said before, it's just like I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought I would. So I'm not coming back to it as much as I thought. So I can't really speak to like, whether it's fucking the greatest expansion ever made or if it's, just it seems just like more Ghost to me, which is fun. It's beautiful. The island looks fucking amazing. The new character types are interesting, but it's just fucking hard. I'm just like,
yeah. Cool. There's another thing on like my PlayStation groups I'm in. Somebody posted, man, Ghost of Tsushima PS5. This shows you what PS5 can do. It's a showcase. And I was just like, this is not a showcase. It's beautiful. It's not a showcase. If you think it is, you haven't played many PS5 games.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank I thought was pretty fucking and mild. Like, yeah.
This is not. Put this next to the PS4 Pro, and it's damn near the only difference is slightly higher resolution. Mm-hmm. So to say that this is like a showcase, like go play Call of Duty.
Yeah,
the Call of Duty, you say what you will about it. So it's not the greatest game, but the graphics on PS5 are insane, and Ratchet and Clank insane.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is a little easier to compare to this because it's like realistic human characters, so you can get a feel for what a human looks like when done. PS5 versus PS4. But yeah, this game is beautiful. The graphics are awesome, but this is not a PS5 graphics. So I just don't know why people are saying that. It's like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a showcase, but one things I do like about this game is it has
It's
a
amazing
really
that this game was made on PS4. Like
yeah, it's
sometimes
pretty
it
crazy.
can look like the low end PS5 games, like those
Yeah.
games that they don't put an incredible amount of work in to get those graphics. It looks like those, but yeah, it's not in the top tier of
Yeah, I
PS5
mean,
graphics.
this is a month away from, or a month later after Last of Us Part Two, which Last of Us Part Two, I'm sorry, is like one of the greatest looking games I've ever seen. Whether it's character models, environments,
Yeah,
that game was firing on all fucking cylinders. So that to me is a showcase for the PS4. You said it looks great on PS5. I haven't tested it yet,
oh
but
yeah, it does. It's
that to
awesome.
me is more of a showcase game than Ghost. But what's cool about Ghost, what I've been loving is seeing all the fans. They have a robust photo mode. I don't fuck with photo modes,
Oh
but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
really fucking cool to see everyone kind of share their samurai photo mode stuff. It's some of the stuff these people come up with are fucking insane.
yeah. I don't fuck with photo modes either, but I keep accidentally turning it on, like in a fight
Yeah.
sometimes.
Well, it's funny
Like,
you
damn it.
mentioned the button mapping because we were talking about how do you fix it. I think you kind of just as you were speaking about how you map the attacks to the
Yeah,
triggers, I was like, oh, well, yeah. I mean, if they just map the attacks to the triggers, the triangle, the sacred symbols and the four symbols were your stances. So you hit circle for your shield, and boom, that would have been a lot
yeah.
easier. But
Yeah, that's not how it goes.
how it goes. They
It's
dropped the
still hard
ball.
to switch the stance. I'm trying to remember what the face buttons do in my controls. It's like I think square is roll or
Hmm.
dodge. I don't remember. Try it out. I think you'll like the. But I don't know. You've already played so much in the other controls. It might be just
Yeah,
too jarring to change now.
yeah.
Um, but for people coming in uninitiated, definitely go with the attack set to R1, R2. I think you're gonna have a better time. So yeah, those are just nitpicks, and everyone's giving this game crap because we need to. Sony needs to know how messed up this is. But it's a great game. So we're all enjoying it and giving them our money while we bitch and complain. That's why they keep getting away with it. But oh well.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it's just how Sony's going to be now. Now that they've become the top dog, they're they don't care no more. But as long as they keep making good games, they're going to stay top dog, I guess.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like I think it's ridiculous that they charge for as much as they charge, but at the same time, I personally just want to support Sucker Punch and I support the game. I think the game's fucking great, so it's like I want to give these guys my money, but in a different I'm giving them money for different reasons. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the $20 expansion. If you buy that expansion, you should get the PS5 upgrade.
Yeah.
I think that's a little ridiculous. But yeah, so I'm a pretty good amount into this game. I think enough to really feel how it is. So I can't remember if you gave a score for this. What was your score?
I don't remember. I mean, we did that a year ago. I mean, yeah, whatever my score was, it still stands.
Right on.
Director's cut. I don't know. Like I said, I've only put in a few hours, but I'd probably give it like just solid 8 as of now.
Yeah, I think this game is an 8 for me. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Especially with PS5, it's really dry, man. It's like there's, kind of few and far stuff. I feel like PS5 is just playing a lot of PS4 games. Is kind of what you're doing on your PS5. So when you get a PS5 something, it's kind of really fun. So
Yeah, it's weird because they have a lot of exclusives, especially compared to Xbox right now. Like if you look them side by side, which exclusives Sony has quite a bit, but when you look at them, they're kind of scattered in the sense that Miles is a pretty universal game. It's a pretty easy game to pick up and play. Same with Ratchet and Clank. But then some of their other games are very Returnal and Demon Souls specifically are very, they're made for specific people. Like an average consumer of PlayStation games isn't going to pick up Demon Souls and probably not going to have a good time. But same with Returnal, right? These are for specific audiences. So yeah, it would be nice to have something a little more like a Ratchet and Clank and a Miles to come out in the fall. But it's going to be crickets until February. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know what they're going to do for the holiday season.
Yeah.
They're probably going to surprise a remaster on us. God of War. I've even heard The Last of Us 2. It's like, damn, these games already look amazing. It's like these not gonna be that different. But yeah, try The Last of Us 2 on PS5, dude. They bumped the resolution and it goes to 60 FPS now, dude. It feels awesome.
Yeah, I was kind of. Really I definitely 100% want to go back and play it because that game is fucking great. I was kind of waiting for fall. You know that weather change, that gloomy, cloudy. You know, that's one of those kind of games. You know.
But once again, that replaying it. This is only the second time going through it. Now, I can really say that the story's fucked. It's not a good sequel. It's not. They dropped the ball. It's a great game, but I don't think it's a good sequel. And you've spent all this time, the relationship with Joel and Ellie, and that's the whole emotional part of the first game. And then you kill them off so early in the second one, so you don't get any payoff to their emotional journey. And like, if you're gonna kill them, kill them in the middle or near the end. I think would have done, but right at the beginning, I think it was such a bad move. And the game's great, but really, I just don't think that was the right thing to do. Now I feel it even more. Like the first time, it didn't bother me as much, and it did bother me. Mm-hmm. But now playing it again, I'm like, man, yeah, why the hell did they do this? Like, even if you're gonna kill them, do it later. Like, give us more, because that's what you care about is the Joel Ellie. Like, we're not playing for Ellie. We're definitely not playing for Abby. And then you put 3/4 of her is the game. So it's just it's so weird. It's a total episode 8 for me. Just totally trying to give you that totally opposite of what you thought was going to happen, and just for the sake of doing the opposite thing. I really think it could have been like one of the greatest games of all time if you just really continue the Joel and Ellie thing, man.
Yeah, it could be. You see, we should have done this a couple episodes ago on our anniversary. Here we are, Last of Us Part 2, where we began. No, but it's interesting because it could be. I don't know if I agree with all of what you just said, but I think that would have helped maybe is that the structure could have changed, because there is a lot of interaction between Ellie and Joel from what I remember. It's just through cutscenes. There are times where you're actually walking around in sections of the game where you're with Joel and Ellie. So maybe it would have been better if those were actually like in the beginning of the game, and then like, you get all of their struggle through like the first half of the game, and then he maybe gets killed, and then she goes off on revenge, and that's how the game ends, and no Abby at all. Maybe people would have liked that more, but I don't know. I appreciate them switching it up and doing something different, and not just Joel and Ellie Part 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is The Last of Us Part 2. People kind of want the Part 2. That's what we came for. But play it again. I think, see if your mind has changed at all, if you still appreciate it as much. Because my mind changed a little bit. I'm more against it the second playthrough. But yeah, it's still a great game. I just think it could have been better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that could happen. I mean, it fucking happens to me all the time. I'll watch a movie and be, it's a 9 out of 10, and then 2 weeks later, it's more like a 6. Sometimes it depends. Reviews kind of change things a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, I could feel different.
Thought it was great. Ended up being like Ghostbusters 2016. I thought it was funny.
Oh, the fart jokes.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's our little episode of Ghost. Check it out. I mean, if you haven't played it, fucking go get it.
Yeah, it's a great
game. Even if you just buy the PS4 base version, which you probably get pretty cheap now, you'll still get the updates. So you'll have the nicer playing if you're playing on PS5, that is. And regardless of where you're playing, you will get the updates that'll have like the controller, the control changes and the adding of the lock on. So no matter how you play this game, I think you're gonna have a good time. Original $5. Is it worth $10? I don't know. That's up to you. If you don't care about $10, yeah, just do it, man.
Yeah, I would say get whatever you can afford, whatever version that is. Fucking buy it, play it. It's fantastic. I mean, there's so many stuff we didn't even touch on, but like, there's a lot of cool aspects of the world. The gameplay is great. You know, it's a awesome game.
I find myself with the like costumes. I don't like wearing all the shit. I'm wearing the minimalist kind of costumes. Like the traveler. I was like, I don't know. Something about I don't like seeing my character with the giant.
Yeah, some of them are like
samurai stuff and like the giant helmet. I never wear any of that crap. I was like, I kind of like the slim ones. Like even when you upgrade the armor and starts adding the shoulder pads and stuff, you can change the appearance. So you'll still have your upgraded features, but it'll look like the older version of the armor where it's got less stuff on it. That's the one I roll with. Yeah. It's like, man, I don't like walking around this big all this crap on you.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way when I saw the Shogun, like the straw, not helmets, whatever you call it, headwear. I was like, oh, I want one of those on my character, and I wore it for like a couple of minutes. I'm like, I just want a headband.
Yeah, yeah, the headband is what I'm rocking. And they need to have the DLC that gives you the Ninja Turtles 3 armor.
There you go. It's funny you brought up the armor because I was like I said, I was pulling footage, and actually maybe I'll drop it in right here. But the fast travel happens in seconds, and I was doing a quick little video of just the menu stuff because I figured we were talking about menus, and here we are. But when I got to the armor, I was going to just show like all the armor that I had. It takes forever for those fuckers to load. I'm like, you can fast travel, but I have to sit here and wait like 20 seconds for you to load the armor. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's weird. I did notice that. So that's another thing that kind of I just picked one and rolled with it. I haven't really changed it at all. But yeah, check it out. Get it, man. Probably a solid 8 all around.
Yeah.
And then get whatever version you want. I don't think you'll be disappointed or missing out on anything. So yeah, that's what we got for this week. I don't know if anything new is coming out. Movie wise, I guess we'll figure it out. Maybe we could do Candyman because, like I said, I didn't get to watch it this week, but I think I will next week. Yeah, we could do Candyman or whatever else. If something else doesn't pop up, yeah, we'll do that. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Please check us out on what the heck are we on? We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. Yeah. Oh, Shang-Chi is next week. And Karen. Everyone wants to see Karen. What the hell's Karen? Is that you ever heard Karen? Oh God, dude! The moment we stop this recording, I want you to go on YouTube and watch the trailer for Karen. Is this? I'm not even going to tell you what it's about. Just watch everybody, not just Bryan. Everybody go out and watch. I can imagine. I'm already seeing like a weird, like a horror movie or something. Like Karen murdering people. I'm not gonna put a mask on. You need to watch. I can't breathe. You gotta watch the trailer. It's fucking great. Oh man, they can't hear me because Kids Bop is on. Oh God. All right. Yeah, I'll go check it out. Yeah, but check us out. Apple, Spotify, here on YouTube. You get the beautiful mugs with the beautiful voice. And till next time, thank you guys. We appreciate it. One love. You guys stay safe out there during all this craziness. And we'll see you next week. Yeah. Thank you. Peace. Peace.